at that. See, we're right there. Yeah, right there. You are. Look, there they are, right there.
Thank you. I call this regular meeting of the QISD Independent School District Board of Education to order at 6:00 p.m. on Tuesday, and today is March 3rd, 2026. Madam Secretary, can you please call roll?
President Leo,
Present.
Vice President Cordova, Secretary Vigil, present. Member Cisneros,
Present.
Member Romero.
Present. You have a quorum. Please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance and the next one. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of Mexico, and see a symbol of the British. Item approval of agenda. I entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Mr. President,
Mr. Stevens.
I'll make a motion to approve, but I'd like to make an executive session, any presentations, department reports.
Second. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Item, we will move on to the approval of the minutes. Entertain the check. The motion to approve the minutes for the regular school board meeting on February 17th. First, do I hear a second?
Second.
First, a second, any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Next item is welcome and introduction of guests. I'd like to welcome everybody joining us this evening, and both in person and on the live stream.
This is creating a little ruckus back here.
Yeah.
Bring these back up.
Next item, public comment. No public comment?
You just want to be remembered, don't
That
you?
was a few.
You did. Well, it wasn't the welding shop for what? Okay.
All right, next item is presentations. Mr. M. Lista, student of the month, you want to?
So what I will do is I will allow Ms. Diley Atkins to introduce those students, and we do have some certificates that we'd like to give out to those students. I'll let Diley.
We already gave some certificates to them as well.
Oh, did you?
Yes. So I only see one here. But we did something different at Alta Vista because I had intermediate and elementary. The teachers send me their names and we put it in a wheel of fortune and drew a name like that so it's unanimous. And for elementary, we have Mr. Romeo. Romeo, do you want to stand up? character. He is a first grade student. From you. Congratulations. So I'll fill this out as well, but he got a nice certificate as well from us. And
Congratulations.
our from intermediate Leah Grace, she's not with us today. She was our intermediate student.
Middle school, high school.
Middle school, high school, I'll go ahead and refer that to Mr.
All right, we had 2 from the junior high and 2 from the high school. And we have Donnie Santastevan here, and Gracie Martinez, Jeremiah Ortega, and Janae Dominguez for our 4 students. And I know a couple of them had conflicts tonight, but Donnie is here, and Gracie should be on her way. So.
There you go. Congratulations. Good job, Bonnie.
Now the FF3 students.
So FFA students, Miss Adams is here
Yeah,
somewhere.
I'm right. I'm here.
And
I'm here.
so she does have her students that she would like to recognize.
I would.
You
I
would?
suppose I would. I didn't know we were doing speeches. I thought you were gonna.
Oh, I can
tell
do
us
it.
about your experience there.
So I can tell you about my experience. So I got to experience these first with these young men, watching them do a quiz ball. And what I will tell you, the most amazing piece of the quiz ball that I saw was before the guy even got a word out there pushing the button. And I said, how do you even know what the question is? And they have just studied and studied and studied. So what I will tell you is these young men tied with the team that ended up winning the championship, and then they lost in sudden death, and they only took the 1 team from each because they had 4 rounds. And so they took the 1 team from each one. So in my eyes, these guys were just as good as the guys that won the championship, being that they tied with them and lost by a sudden death point. And one mistake, huh? That cost us that 1 point.
That was him as well.
Hey, so when they push the button, they have to wait for the host, because it's kind of like a game show, to say, Cuesta, give me your answer. And so we answered the question right, but we didn't wait until him to say, Cuesta, can you give me that answer? So then on my other end, I got to experience Brisa, who, if anybody knows Brisa, she's one of the shyest young ladies that you will ever meet in your life. But she walked into a room that was kind of intimidating because it was like this, set up like this. And then there was about 6 people sitting in the audience, and she recited this creed, not in English, but in Spanish. And then she had to answer 3 questions that went along with it. So there was 6 contestants or 6 people that competed in that. She ended up 3rd out of the 6. And so she has her nice little plaque that she can show you. So, like I said, very proud of all these. So I have one, Mr. President, for Brisa, if you would like to sign that.
And yes, and these boys, so to add to that, these boys last year, they watched our girls place 3rd at state last year. And as soon as we got home, they were asking for the material. They were ready to go. And as a guy, I can't give you the material because the questions change every year. So you're going to have to wait for the material. But as soon, first day, they found me and they're like, okay, do we have the material? So these guys have wanted it since the beginning.
Yes, very proud of them. So thank you, of course, to Miss Adams for all the hard work. I know that it's not easy to spend your afternoons, and sometimes when you're dealing with teenagers and middle schoolers especially, it's kind of
We get more of them.
but they did an amazing job. We hope to keep growing the program. So Brisa, on behalf of the board and the district, I'd like to present you with a certificate. Mr. X, where are you? Xavier, Esteban as well. Jeremiah Ortega is also part of this team, but he was unavailable tonight. His mom did send message saying that he wouldn't, so we did want to recognize him, and Mr. Elijah Seguda. So again, congratulations to all of you. Keep up the hard work and keep studying those questions.
Yes, and thank you, Mr. Maldonado, for being down there to support us.
No problem.
That was
Thank
great.
you.
Yes.
Alta Vista Teacher Award.
So, Alta Vista Teacher Award. Do you want this, Miss Diley, or do you want me to take it? Okay, well, I want you to pass the paper. So, Miss, and I don't know a whole lot about this. I know we just kind of found out about it. So, Miss Felice was awarded teacher. Can you tell us a little bit more about what exactly your award was that they gave you?
I got Teacher of the Year through the VFW, our district, which there's like 5 towns, 5 counties. And I got runner-up for New Mexico Teacher of the Year.
Okay, so congratulations, and the board wanted to invite you. And it sounds like it's a nice post and that, and did you get to go to like an award thing? Is that what it was?
Yeah, over in Albuquerque, and they had dinner for us and presented us with an award and certificate and little gifts.
Awesome. So again, that what you do, we may not always know 100% of what it was, but we want to recognize that. And again, being named Teacher of the Year and being runner-up for New Mexico is awesome. And the board, of course, wants to recognize you. And from the district's behalf, we want to recognize you. And so that's why we invited you today, to give you that recognition. So again, congratulations on behalf of the board and the district. Appreciate it, everything you do. One of our hardest working teachers, and so doesn't go unnoticed. So thank you.
Thank you guys.
Oh, Miss Elise.
Sitting is awesome. Just
All right, so our last award, and I'll throw this part wasn't in there because we didn't know this yet, but our last award goes out to Miss Elise Lovato. Elise is not only a star athlete, but she's also a amazing student. Carries one of the highest GPAs. I think you ended up 3rd in your class. You're gonna end up 3rd in your class. So that she doesn't just work hard on the court or on the field. She works hard in the classroom as well. So this recognition was more for her scoring 1,500 points. I think by the time it's all said and done, we almost need another banner, right? We were like 16 something.
50, yeah.
Yeah. So she scored quite a few points in her career. She is an amazing, like I said, athlete, but an amazing student. I did ask her what she's gonna do with all those banners that she has, and she's gonna take them and hang them up in her dorm room, I guess. She's
My dad's girl.
there you go. She's got quite a few of them. So again, like I said, board, I wanted to acknowledge Elise for her accomplishments on the court. She was also named All District. I would like to invite the other All District boy at our next meeting, or either that one or the following one, and recognize him. Those didn't come out until Saturday, so that was already past our recognition. Before that, I would also like to mention that Donnie is also our salutatorian, and I didn't mention that a minute ago, so he is our salutatorian this year. So when I said 3 in class, that's 2 in the class, and our other one would have been number 1 in the class, Jimmy. So amazing group of young men and young women in here. But again, Elise, thank you. Look forward to what you do in track, and hopefully we're doing this again with you. So thank you.
I just wanted to, I know we already went through these, but I just want to say, Romeo, I'm very proud to see you here tonight. And it's really nice to see Alta Vista students getting recognized as well. Same with Donnie. I want to congratulate you for your accomplishments in school, and it's just really nice to see students here in this room. I haven't seen any since I've been on the board, so it's really nice to see. Congratulations to FFA, Clara. I'd like to just give you acknowledgement. I know you worked really hard with these kids, and It's just really cool to see the outcome of an outstanding teacher for the students, and your hard work doesn't go unnoticed, as well as for you guys. I'm really proud of you guys. Miss Felice, I've heard nothing but great things about you, so I just want to say congratulations. And Elise, it's been an honor to, oh, where is she? There you are. It's been an honor to watch you on the court. I will say that my daughter looks up to you very much, and she wants to be like you. And I know sometimes the older kids don't. I don't know if, like, when I was a senior, I didn't really like think of those things, but she thinks the world of you, and I just want you to know that it was an honor watching you, and I was honestly very sad to see you do that last walkout. So congratulations, and I'm excited to see what you do from here. That was it.
Move on to the proposed bond and general overview of the process presented by Ms. Bernard Valenzuela, trustee advisors.
Mr. President, thank you for having me this evening. May I have permission to hand out a presentation?
Sure.
Mason is handing it out now. And while he's doing that, let me apologize to the board. I was supposed to be here last meeting.
Thank you.
And I just got the date wrong. I absolutely just got the date wrong, so I apologize.
Thank you, guys.
Good job, good job.
Okay, I'll start running through this. On slide 2, this is just a little bit of old history. I know I've taken this through taken this board through this before, but in New Mexico school districts can ask voters to sell general obligation bonds, which you did in November successfully. Voters gave you approval to sell $13 million of general obligation bonds. And so I'm here tonight to talk about the first issuance of those bonds. Now, underlying everything here is a new school project that I know that you submitted to the Public School Facilities Authority and the Capital Outlay Council for approval. That group in Santa Fe, they were slated to make their decisions on awards in March, but have postponed it till June. And we fully expect that QISD would be awarded. And so I'm here before you tonight to talk about how we start setting up the first bond issuance to align with that potential award that's going to happen here in June. So in New Mexico, school districts get the most authority from the state constitution. This is a constitutional issue. And so the Constitution allows school districts to get 6% of the assessed taxable value in the boundaries of the school district of all the properties, both residential and non-residential, and that would be your total capacity. So in QISD's district, there's $250 million of taxable assessed value, and multiplying that times 6 gives the district $15 million of capacity. You already have some existing debt outstanding, and again, voters gave you the authority to issue $13 million. So you're once you finish this bond program over the next 4 years, you'll essentially be at your capacity unless there's pretty significant growth within the district. And then as we pay down debt, you'll also get some of that debt back, that capacity back. On slide 3 is just the history of that assessed value. And so you can see it broken down over the last 6 years based on residential property values and then also non-residential property values. You can see that in 2025, non-residential property values jumped up quite a bit. That's a really strong movement in the district. It went from total assessed value of $237 million last year to $250 million. On the right side of those top tables are the tax rates that are imposed within the district. And this is an important point, and this again is what we had mentioned, and we know that you're aware, but I'll just say it for the public's edification that the state the state's willing to lower the district's match, their contribution to a new school project. But you have to have a minimum level of taxation in place. And that minimum level is 7 mils. And so if you see in that top right-hand chart, right now your total levy is 5 mils. And so what we communicated to the board last year, and I know you communicated to the community, was that passage of the bond would require an increase in tax by 2 mils to get up to that 7 mils. And the value there, a little bit of investment on the community side will get a big investment from the state side. As I mentioned in the past, some of the districts in the area, Peñasco as an example, have had almost 95% of their school paid for by the state because they did increase their tax to those levels. So that's a real benefit. So if it were left to just the local participation, it just, the 13 million plus the limited share from the state, it wouldn't be enough to build a brand new school. And that's why the importance of raising that tax rate up. And again, the state looks at that measure every single year. And so our target is to make sure that the tax rate this year, and that'll happen in August, gets up to the 7 mils. So it meets the qualification for the state to lower the requested share. If I can move on to slide 4, again, I'm really here to start talking about how we set up this first bond issuance. And so I'm going to be making a few recommendations. Ultimately, these are your decisions, and you can tell me we would prefer to do something else, or we would prefer to go this way, or sell this much. But I'm going to share with you what our recommendations are and why we're showing those, and then take your direction. And if you say you want to go a different way, we'll honor that and move that way. And we'll certainly be working with your superintendent as we go through this process. So on page 4 is the first recommendation, and it's called the method of sale. Like, how are you going to sell these bonds, and to whom are you going to sell them? And so really this breaks down between 2 different kinds of sale. There's a private placement, which is just a direct loan with a bank, a local bank, or even a national bank, or a governmental bank. And we have one in New Mexico called the New Mexico Finance Authority. So those 2 on the top would be examples of those first 2 recommendations. I'm not recommending those. I'm actually recommending a public bond offering. And there's 2 ways to do that, and I'll explain in a moment. You can either do a competitive sale or a negotiated sale. And basically a competitive sale is the district says on, I'm just making up this date, on May 1st at 10 o'clock, we're going to accept bids from whoever in the country wants to make bids to buy these bonds. And at 10 o'clock, we'll open up all the bids and we'll pick the best price for the district. That's the process I'm recommending. The negotiated sale is where the district would hire an additional investment bank to find all the investors around the country that would buy the bonds. It's a pretty standard process. So either way, we feel like you're going to get good value. But in our view, the district's strong financially, and we think that that would represent itself when you go out to market. And so we're recommending this competitive sale process. So we do a lot of the legwork for you in getting you to the process to sell these bonds in a competitive sale. One of the things that's required to do that is to get a bond rating. Most school districts that sell bonds in New Mexico have bond ratings. I will say that the private placements on the top, they don't require a bond rating. So you don't need to do that. We are recommending that you go get a bond rating, and we're also recommending that you do it in person. And that the most natural place and the closest is probably Dallas. And so we would encourage that process. We'll take care of all the paperwork that's involved, and we'll go with you. We cover our own costs to do that, so we're not putting that on the district. So, and the better the bond rating, the lower interest costs for the district. So we really work hard on this part of the process. On slide 5 is just more about that recommendation to get a bond rating. And I know you've had a bond rating in the past, but recently the most recent bonds that you've issued were through a private placement with the Finance Authority, New Mexico Finance Authority, and so they didn't require bonds. So the bond rating is relatively old for the district, and so, we'll be charting new territory here to redo that. So on this slide on 5, I'm not showing a rating for Cuesta. There isn't one currently that's outstanding. What I am showing is that in New Mexico, every school district gets backed by the state, which helps sell the bonds in that competitive process at a lower cost. And so getting the bond rating also comes with this credit enhancement rating that I'm showing you here, this AA3. And you can see on this scale how high it is. So this scale, basically, the best ratings are here at the top, the AAA. That's the best credit rating. And then the ones lower down to the Ds, they're lower in non-investment graded. They're kind of what we call junk bond status. And I'll just say there's no one in New Mexico that's in this speculative grade. Every school district in New Mexico is in this investment grade. And most of them are in this BAA1 to A2, sort of that range right there. So that's what I expect for the district to have. But again, we're recommending that you do that process. And again, something this important to your financial, basis, I feel like you should do that in person, like face to face with whoever's going to be assessing the rating. On slide 6 is just the general finance plan on how this would develop. So again, the goal here is to make sure that we can get the capital that the district needs to line up with the state funding program at the Public School Capital Outlay Council. Part of that is the tax rate. So this first year we can get to 7 and keep it there as we go forward. And then we also want to make sure that we're getting the lowest interest cost for the district. So we're recommending that you sell bonds every 4 years. State law allows the district, after an election, they allow the district 4 years to sell whatever the voters gave you authority for. So we're just breaking it up evenly. So the first one would be 3.25 million, and then the following year another 3.25 million. Again, if you tell me we need more money for the project, then we can up these amounts. So let me just talk a little bit about the way the state works. So like I said, they're going to be making their decision and publicize their awards. Again, we fully expect that QISD is going to be awarded a project in June. And when they do award it, they do the project in 2 phases. So phase 1 is architecture, design, and engineering of the project. It's basically taking about a year and a half to come and work with the community, figure out what you want the school to look like, what the transition plan is, demolition plans, if any, where students are going to be learning in that process of construction while it's happening, where are you going to have students learning, and how's it all going to work. That process takes about 18 months. So the first part of that is it's typically about 10% of the overall construction project. We've been seeing construction projects for schools in New Mexico come in from 35 to 50 million, depending on the size. So we're assuming 35 million, 10% for phase 1 is about 3.5 million. And so that's why we're suggesting the 3.25 million as the first issuance. You won't have to pay the full first cost of phase 1, but you'll have that money available for you. And then if there are things that the state won't fund, like a track or, athletic facilities or drainage around the campus, you can use some of that other money for those things. And then after the 18 months is done, when you have 100% design construction documents ready to bid, that's when the state will go for phase 2, which is the construction funding. And that actually lines up with the series 2028 that I'm showing here on this page, another 3.25. That's when the big cost will come in, and that's when the local match reduction will be most important to the district. That, again, if it's a $50 million build, and they lower you down to maybe just 5 or 10% of the project, that makes it much more affordable for the district. And then the other 2 items in between, the Series 2027, 3.25, and the Series 2029, 3.25, that can be for other just projects around the campus that are not going to be focused on the school that you you've requested support for and want to build. Again, there's always, I've never been in a district that doesn't have like, capital projects that are constantly happening, with other facilities, other buildings. So that's sort of the plan of finance. Again, you can tell us, no, we want to start with 10 million or we want to start with 2 million. You really help guide us. This is our recommendation to start the process as we start learning more from the state and what you will need in the district. And then 7, on slide 7, it's just the math. We're told frequently, and I like to be really transparent about this. Well, and what we hear is, well, if the school district issues 4 times, well, that means, you guys get paid 4 times, and that means the bond attorneys get paid 4 times. We've done the math. Whenever you sell $13 million in one chunk in the first, year out of the gate, you're paying interest on $13 million. When we break it up into 4 pieces, you're only paying interest on the first 3.25 million in year 1 rather than 13 million.
What was the average interest rate?
It can range. We just did a transaction with Silver Schools, and it was about 3.7%. And that was for about 15 years of financing. So, but we've also seen up to 5%. The market is pretty volatile these days, frankly. And so it can be anywhere from about 3.7 to 5%. And so again, we've done the math, and the savings that you get by breaking it up just on interest costs really mitigates any of the issuance costs that are involved. The one other thing I didn't mention with going to the public offering and the recommendation we're making about using a competitive sale is the bond market will pay premium for bonds. So for instance, like Silver City, we just did their school district bonds. They sold $6.5 million, and the bond market came in and paid them an additional $500,000 of premium for those bonds just because there's so much demand for it. And that $500,000 basically covers all the costs of anybody involved, and it has, for Silver, it left another $350,000 in their debt service account, which is what they use to repay the debt. So that's why we recommend going to the public offering, because we know that bond investors right now are paying premiums for bonds. So that's, I hate to say it, like it's free money in the way you structure. When you go to a private market like the Santa Fe Bank that I was talking about, the New Mexico Finance Authority, they only let you sell the 3.25, and then they take the expenses, our fees, the attorney's fees, they take it out of the bottom line. So you end up with, I'm totally making this number up, but if you sold 3.25 million, you might end up with 3.2 million. When you go to the bond market, you're going to end up with the 3.25 million. And the costs are going to be covered by that premium. And then you're also going to have a little bit more in your reserve to help pay the bonds back. So again, that's why we recommend this process for this kind of bond. So having said that, those are the recommendations that we're making for you. I know I threw a lot at you. I'm happy to go through any part of it again, or take any questions, Mr. President.
Is there any way to speed up your timeline, or can you package in your 1 and 2 together?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Mr. President.
What's your, I guess, is schools doing that, or are they keeping?
Well, so Mr. President, it's really up to your construction program, like what you have planned, what you think you can get done within the construction season. So if you need $6.5 million, yeah, we could put together a transaction for $6.5 million. So rather than it be 4 transactions, we would do 3.
Are those premiums stronger if you package them, or are they better spread out?
It's really more proportional. So if we're seeing premium about 6 to 7% of the transaction. So if it's 3.25 million, yeah. Thank you for having us.
Next item. What was So we're not, are you guys listed tonight?
So we were listed twice, but it's the same presentation, so,
Okay, just wait for his action.
I'm unfinished.
and there's no need, it was just a presentation, and we'll work with your superintendent to kind of get your sense on how you want to proceed.
Okay, yeah.
All right, this time, entertaining a motion to enter into executive session pursuant to the Mexico Open Meetings Act, section 10-15-1H for the specific purpose stated in the agenda. Oh, wait, I gotta finish the motion.
We're
Item E, discussion of the purchase, acquisition, and disposal of real property in section 10-15H. I just said that. The Mexico Open Meetings Act.
I'm sorry, who made the first?
Kelly? First and a second, Madam Secretary, roll call.
President Morrell,
Yes.
Secretary Vigo, yes. Member Cisneros,
Yes.
Member Romero.
Yes. Okay, so we will go into executive at 6:36 p.m.
Yeah, that would.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you, sir.
No.
entertain a motion to return to open session.
Move.
All in favor?
I'm sorry, who was the second?
You first in 1 second.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Let the record reflect that the board returned to open session at 7:40 p.m. Also, let the record reflect that only the matters stated in the motion to close were discussed in executive session. Also, for action, there was no action taken as a result of the executive session. Next item is administrative reports. Take a motion to approve the administrative reports and the administrative and department reports as presented. Mr. President. Yes. Have we done anything for the gym yet, Costilla? The gym floor?
We had the insurance guy go over there. I took him over there and he checked it out.
Okay. John, what does it show in the lease with the county on their liabilities for the maintenance of the property?
So they should be providing full maintenance to the property, with the exception again of the gym. The gym is excluded from any of that portion of that. When the lease was written, it was just showing the classrooms and the usage of the area that would be used. And so they should be providing walkthroughs and general maintenance to any of the areas that they do have leased under.
Okay, and I think we might have to make an amendment because even though they don't have the usage of the gym or that area of the school, the utilities run as a whole. So it's, so we can't, next time they don't have water, it's like we can't wait a few days to find out it's leaking or busting the gym, so at least we have to get them on the train and figure out where they gotta go.
In contact, yeah, because your main line comes into the gym.
Yeah.
That's where your main line is.
Okay, that's all I got for maintenance. For nutrition, give them a big thanks that they changed their menu for Lent. So I really appreciate that.
What are they serving for that? It depends. Other day they had bean burritos, tuna sandwiches one day. Kids weren't huge fans of that one, but
No.
it was an option.
Pickles in it or what was it?
Onions.
They said it was green.
They didn't like the onions. Onions and celery, I believe. Yeah. So they are giving that option of us. No meat now.
And I guess for the superintendent, just a question, I know we've been playing district play for the basketball is over, but we go to the other gyms and in the district, how come we don't have banners for our state track people?
Which kind of banner?
Just the banner in the gym for the individual when we win state competitions for track, and every other gym has them.
We can look at what it was.
Do we have one on the banner? Or it just says the
You
years?
just had the years of the district.
Oh, okay.
But like you've been to the gym in Nebraska, Kelly, how they have them all over.
Oh, like the big white banner,
Yeah,
Those
I don't know what
the
they
NMA
come,
banners.
they come from the state or
Oh,
what, they're
yeah,
all
they
the,
come from the state.
well, they're all the same, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, where did ours go?
We don't have any state things.
You know, but the little girl we
Like
did
girls.
for,
Individuals, they don't.
yeah, they do.
Oh, we'd have to buy those.
Oh, we gotta buy?
Yeah.
Because you done one.
They don't. They don't give them to the individuals. So those
Oh, we
are
gotta
all,
buy.
those are all purchased.
Oh,
Okay, maybe we look at doing that, cause I think, I don't know where she sits on, when we do recognition the next time, but I think for female athletes, I think she might be one of the highest medals in the history of the state. I know the boy from Logan last year graduated, he was the highest male, that's for all single A through 5A. I think she might be number one right now, but after this year, she probably will be, for sure. So maybe we can get her banners up there. That's all I got.
I know I've been in the last couple meetings with field house, everything's working good.
Yes.
Clean everything's water good.
It's still shut off, you have to turn it back on when it warms up a little more.
Is that where baseball goes and uses the restroom too? Or how
No,
do they do this?
so they go into by the weight room, but we did also order some porta potties, so those will be here, I think now in the next week or two.
Cause we host teach, I think, that junior high.
We do. Junior high and high school,
We're doing energy.
Energies and Dulce. So went back to the rotation, because Espanola hosted it for as long as they did, and so one of the arguments was if anybody attended Energy last year, all of a sudden we had all these additional schools coming in. There was no fee paid by those schools. On top of that, they weren't required to supply workers the way we were required to supply. And like, these are big teams that have 7 coaches, and we're teams that have 2, and you're wanting us to work 2 events at the same time. It's like, this doesn't work. Yeah.
That was a good, Kelly, that reminded me about the maintenance in the baseball field. Are we okay to play this year?
Yes.
'Cause I know last year we had to do
The maintenance.
the whatever repair.
So the maintenance has been repaired. All the seams are closed up. And your batter's box was completely redone.
Okay.
I don't know, we're more than likely going to eliminate the pitcher's mound and buy a portable pitcher's mound, which if we ever decided to convert it into a softball field, that would be an easy.
Yeah.
But the other reason is, and again, is we gotta maintain those things, and we can't afford to keep buying $700 worth of dirt every year to build up a pitcher's mound. So the easier thing is just to. It's supposed to be that red clay, but again, it's got to stay covered. Like now that we covered like the pits, the sand pits for the track, I don't need to buy dirt. Like I don't need to buy sand. We're good. It kept it the way it needed to keep it, and that's what needs to happen with the pitcher's mound. So ideally, what we'll do is we'll eliminate that pitcher's mound, buy a portable pitcher's mound, and
What was it, last year or was it the year before that they came and inspected and gave us?
It was last year, and that's when we brought them in last year to come and do that. And so when they came in, they did do all the repairs to it. Again,
They
the
gave
life,
us a time, so what's the life on it?
about 3 years from the time that they did it. So we're looking at maybe
One more
another
year maybe?
Yeah, another year or so at the most.
Are we making sure they're not wearing metal cleats?
We are. The problem is even with the rubber cleats, just the digging into it. You also got to remember that felt gets used by Little League, and so you have little kids on there as well. So it's a pretty.
It's just those metal cleats kind of jerk a little
Yeah,
bit.
for that size, they don't sell.
It's not. But your littles aren't using metal cleats. Like we have that agreement, but our high schools need to. And I told make sure that even visiting players aren't wearing metal cleats. So
It just smells kind of rough on the tree.
yeah, it's a rough build. Like I said, it's got maybe another
You got one more year, maybe, what was the quote on, to reach at that?
$1.8 million, and that was 2 years ago. So now you're probably talking about $2.2 million. That's about what we've seen go up. Because I did get another quote on the football field because we had gotten a $50,000 grant to redo it, and it came out, it was like 2.3, and I said, well, not $50,000 is like just your guy driving up here. Yeah. Yeah. It's just we didn't get the money unless we actually use it to refurb.
There's like nothing else. You can't send it for the amendment.
That was through a grant that I applied for, through it was called like turf something or other, and so it was solely for the use of returfing a field.
So you got 50,000 of the 2.3.
Yes. Yeah, so I got 50,000 of it.
We could use it for like the black paint though.
No?
No.
You gotta re-turf the field.
It's for new turf.
Yeah, for new turf.
Okay, I just have a question for either Ms. Stiley or Mr. M. On the MOI monitoring, it says we have improvement, but the state data doesn't show that, so
No,
are we doing, what, did we dropped in reading and math? or-
no, we didn't drop, so what, it's looking at, we set goals at the beginning of the year. So we met with the state and they set really high goals. And then it says that we didn't meet it, but we were off by 2%. So because I set them really, really high.
Uh-huh.
And we had the growth, and that's being us in a designation status. And that's just for our 4, 5, and 6. Growing with their recommendations, set them high. And for us not to hit 2%, that's great for being in designation status. So if you read like the successes and celebrations, that's where we're at. So we didn't meet that 2% for reading, language, and 7% in math, where we didn't have no math scores if you look like over the years in math. And this is, remember, just 4, 5, and 6th grade, which caused the designation to happen. So this is our second year in designation where we're needing improvement. So we are making that growth that we are expected to make. So that 2% in reading and 2% that we missed the bar. And that was the high bar that we set for our teachers and our students. So they really looked at it like, you set it so high and you just missed it by 2% of that growth. And realistically, like, you should have set it a little lower, but because of all the curriculum that we have and everything that we were doing, they're like, okay, you knew what you guys were doing. And to almost meet that threshold, okay. And especially in math where that 7%, it doesn't seem like a lot, it's quite a bit because we didn't have no data in math. We're below, and it's across the board in math because we're so focused on literacy and reading and language. So that is huge for us. And that's why I wanted to submit this report. And this goes like on the PD website, like the designation, so you'll see, like everyone will see this growth that is happening.
Can you explain how that correlates to spotlight and traditional, because the districts around us, we were low and lost on everything, it seemed like, so how, I just don't understand how.
Well, even at elementary level, we're a traditional school, and then you go into intermediate, and then we're in this needs improvement school, and then we get to middle school and we go back to traditional, like what happened? Because I asked the same question when all of a sudden this is, well, you're a needs improvement school. Why? And like, well, it's your data from because we're 2 years behind with PE. We're looking at 2 years of data, and that's why on this first page it was year 21, 22. Like, I had to go dig for data 4 years ago, and they wanted to see the trends. And like, well, some of it was really high, and then it kind of just went down. And like, well, was it because of staff? Was it because of our students? And what was the correlation to? And that's why the Vistas data is what drove just that intermediate, and why it's the intermediate schools in that data of 4th and 5th grade, and sometimes 6th when they were there. It was just those 2 grades that is bringing that data down. And if they were to just combine all of elementary, the elementary would probably pick that and take them out of designation. But right now they're still going to be in designation because 2 grades and Hispanic. They were designated because the population was Hispanic, because we're mainly Hispanic.
So I think what you're asking, President, is how are we saying that we're showing growth, but when you look at the data is not showing growth? Is that kind of getting at?
Yeah, because it kind of seems,
And
last time we said, hey, we're making good improvements, and then
So-
we're like,
So a piece of that is also when we're looking at data in the district, we're not looking solely at the state assessment. We're looking at our short cycle data that we're able to use and be able to correlate closer to what's being taught in the classrooms. When the state's looking at it, the state's solely looking at that state testing data is what they're looking at. Another big portion that plays into is your attendance data. And I will tell you that our attendance data is horrible. Working on our attendance plan at the elementary, lower elementary, we're awesome. Less than 5% are considered to be absent more than 10 days in a school year. And we're not just looking consecutive. I know everybody thinks all you look at is consecutive. No, we're looking at if you miss 10 days throughout the school year. When you start getting up to the 5th grade, 6th grade, you start running into about 30% of those kids are considered absent 10 or more days. As you continue to grow, by the time they're seniors, I think we were 70% of our kids are absent 10 or more days. I did ask Mr. Miller, and I guess he stepped out now, but when I was looking at even attendance right now, we have students that have 30 plus days absent. With the most hitting about 59 days. We only come to school 100 and I think we're now at 161 days. So 59 of those days, that means like that student's only in school for 100 days. That's a piece that I will tell you that I'm trying to work with the attorney on some type of policy because there's not a lot of state back.
So for that, what's the day requirement for graduation?
There is no day requirement. So our policy, the way our policy reads is that if the student misses 10 or more days in a semester, then what happens is they are supposed to receive an incomplete. But now the catch to that is, it states, if they make up the work, then that work will be graded and given towards grade of whatever they want. So you really have no catch to that. There's no seat time. Which that's something that I've been talking with attorneys on is that something that we can put into play, seat time? Because if you're out of school for 40 days, there's no reason you should have an A in that class or a B in that class.
But didn't we come up to an issue last year where we had some that didn't meet the hours?
There's no hours.
So
your seniors didn't meet the hours. But that was the state thing because you have to do 1,180 hours minus 30. So 1,150 hours or something to that extent, because that's what's put in front of you by PED. But that's just as a whole, like as a school district.
So by graduation requirements, can you put it in?
That they should hit those hours.
But you can put it in annual hours?
I would like that. Because right now, this is, like I said, when you have 70% of your kids that are missing, and that may just be one class. But if you missed one class 50 times in a school year, you probably shouldn't pass that class. I'm gonna be honest with you. And if you do pass, you probably should be passing like a D at the highest. But because there's no stipulations, I've asked PED on these, I've asked the state, what do we do? And they said, well, you should be making contact with CYFD. So we do make contact with CYFD, and what we kind of get back from CYFD is, well, that's not really on their high needs assessment because it's assessed on how, and so we'll look into this, but it could take weeks to months to us to even get a call back to you. So by that time, this kid's already missed 10 more days. And so that's kind of where, now we're already on the 30-day letter instead of just the 10-day letter. And so that's where we run into that issue. And I think going back to your question, Mr. President, is when we look at data, we don't just look at the state data, we look at all data, but I think that a big portion of that also needs to play and factor that attendance rate data. And the state does look at that attendance rate data, which is huge. I don't know, and this has become since a COVID thing where before attendance was like, you have to be in school, and now after the COVID hit,
50% at one time.
Yeah.
50% of your grade was.
It should be. It should be. And you should have a big percentage. Like honestly, what we need to just start going back to is even just telling them if you're not in class and stop. But this is where we run into the other issue, and I know you see this a lot, Ms. Bailey, is everything in this district is an excused absence. So anytime these parents call and say, oh, my kid's home sick today, Okay, we'll mark you as an excused absence. And everything is an excused absence. I've had the same battle with athletics, where we put into play these types of things, but then what's happening is they're calling in and saying, and I know that it's just because they got home late, but they're calling and saying, oh, my kid woke up feeling sick this morning. Well, they were fine last night when they were playing the game, but now this morning they woke up feeling sick. So then they missed that day. And so we've started to try to distinguish between an athletic absence and a school absence, but there's no real, because even in our policy, the way it reads is as long as that parent is calling and reporting them absent or sending an email and saying, my kid's home sick today, then we're excusing it. And I think that that part needs to get a lot more stricter, where I'm okay with if you're out one day, but then when it's stretching to 2 or 3 days, we only come to school 4 days a week, man. And there's some of our students that are out. Part of that also plays into staff attendance, and I that's a whole different ball game, and I won't get into that piece right now. But it's they kind of correlate together. Is attendance, grades. We've said this before. How when we're testing so low on these state tests, but yet you're pulling a grade, and this kid has an A in the class, but yet they can't do basic addition and subtraction, and we're wanting them to do algebra or do whatever it may be. Well, it's not going to happen. And I think at your level, that's kind of what you're seeing. I mean, I'm speaking for you. You can
No,
jump in.
that's what we see, or students will show up in the morning and by 10 o'clock, parents are there to pick them up.
We have a inflated amount of IEPs nowadays, or?
We do.
But they're starting to,
even out.
yeah,
Yes. They're starting to even out, and students are starting to actually be exited out of IEPs. But, just to throw you a rough number, we have 72 kids on an IEP in the district, and we have 296 kids in the district. So
What's the average percentage in the state?
about a quarter of your population. We're well over a quarter of our population are on IEPs. So, and that was due to over testing when you have the COVID time. And so you have this, every kid had some type of learning disability because they were at home, and parents just figured there's something wrong with my kid because they can't sit in front of a computer for 7 hours or 8 hours. But that's kind of, now that we've kind of gotten past that, and I'll tell you, with our new diag, or the diag we've had for the past couple of years, we haven't tested as many kids because what she does is she does a really good job of looking at data prior to. And what she has found with a lot of our students is what has prevented them from being tested is the number of absences, because that's a piece that's looked at. Is when you're looking at it, you're looking at absences, you're looking at test scores, you're looking at just classroom assignments, and you're looking at, is a lack of instruction. And so with the number of absences, it's a lack of instruction. You can't be gone for 20 days and then come back to school and expect to just step right in and be where you should be. And that's a big factor of what we see. And I know at the elementary, these kids don't miss a lot, but what ends up happening is just like she said, it's this is like Grand Central. I have cars in and out of this place all day picking up kids. Mm-hmm. And it's just, and it could be as early as 10 o'clock, it could be right at lunch, it could be, and so that's always a factor. High school's even worse than that when it comes to.
Maybe next meeting you could bring us those numbers and we can see how we can address that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, see what, because it's frustrating when you see this stuff on the newspaper and we're in the boardroom and we're showing growth, but then when we see that, it's like, well, what happened?
So the only thing that wasn't in my report, because we got dates, our NAMASA testing, which they pull our VISTA information from, we'll be doing it March 16th to the 19th. So it is coming now right after our next board meeting.
So your new MASA testing will be the piece that you'll see in VISTA scores for next year.
Yeah.
Is you'll see the comparison showing, did we show growth or did we not show growth? And so again, it goes back to, I've really challenged the high school with, you know, the importance of taking these SAT tests. Really, you know, not just, oh, it's a test, go ahead and go in there, and if we invalidate it, which we did have an issue with that last year, is it's no big deal. It's just a test, don't worry about it. You know, and I get it, we have to get past that. We have to get back into the thing of, this is a test, but this is a test to see what we're teaching you. Are you learning this? Are you understanding this? I know a big factor I got is, you know, we do have a new math teacher at the high school, and I'm getting a lot of parents and even other staff saying, well, these kids don't understand this. And it's like, well, how do they not understand this? They had math for as many years as they've had math. And, you know, and I sat with him and I said, is it the way you're teaching? And it's like, no, it's not the way he's teaching. It's just because we lack those basic skills. It goes back to the skill set. You know, I've said this a million times, like, you know, just because all the kids like you doesn't always make you the greatest educator. You also have to have some rigor and that goes back to where we have to challenge these kids. There has to be that challenge. I'll tell you, you know, just doing my walkthroughs with the elementary, I can tell you the ones that are going to struggle as time goes, and I can tell you the ones that are going to really start knocking it out of the ballpark. And it's just the rigor, that expectations that come along with it. And that's what I've kind of challenged them with is, you guys have to be there and you have to be telling these, you know, not telling you how to teach because I'm not the one teaching right now, but I need you to step up because these kids need to have some challenge in life. It can't just be handed to them, because then this is what happens. We see these test scores, and I think what was elementary, we were like less than 5% or something like that were proficient in math, and that means out of third through whatever grade, that means that only 2 of those kids hit the proficient mark.
2 out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then when we look at what you showed us, there's growth.
Yeah.
So it's like,
And just on the IMASA, it's showing, it breaks it down and that's just, it is IMASA, but it's still another indicator of what is growth, which now when we take this NAMASA, we can still show that growth, and this doesn't get out of this designation. So that way it all makes sense, hopefully.
Can we get a hold of a handle on days away from the class for athletics?
Yes and no. And I say yes and no because when we had met as a district, with the district teams, what we had established was that games would be on Thursdays and Saturdays, and then all of a sudden they became Wednesdays and Tuesdays, and you know, part of that was officials, but I did talk to a couple of the other districts in the district, and what they had said is we started telling some of those schools no, because we felt that it wasn't that it was an official issue. It was just they didn't want to play on a Thursday because it wasn't a benefit to them. It was a benefit to play on a Wednesday or to play on a Tuesday. And so we just started telling them no. And so that's what we're going to have to start doing, because no, we didn't. Again, like I said, you know, I know you have a boy in sports. I know you helped with the team, and there were times we played on a Wednesday and got home at 2 in the morning. And then, so what ends up happening, I don't have those kids in school the next day. And so that, you know, so.
that was something that I was thinking about, and I'm glad you brought it up, because if we have 80% of the high school are student athletes, and we have 70% of them absent, you know, that has to correlate. Like, are we playing too many games, or what's?
Well,
you
we
know,
probably
what are we doing?
we probably are, and that's probably a piece in it. But it's also, again, I go back to, there has to be, we have to have some type of accountability.
Yeah.
And I mean accountability in all factors, accountability in athletics, but we also have to have accountability in classrooms. We can't tell kids, oh, I understand you weren't here yesterday, so don't worry about the assignment, I'm just gonna exempt you from that.
But you have to lead by example.
Yes.
Because I'll tell you, I know you kids have power school, you know, try to check their kids. There's been times where I looked at it and I'm like, man, what's up with that?
Yeah.
like all my stuff's in, but the grade hasn't came up, and
Yeah.
you find out it hasn't came up because the teacher in that class hasn't been there for a week or two.
Yeah, and that got touched on that, and like I said, I won't go too deep into that piece right now, but I will tell you that is, and you do have, we do have to have some accountability, and there has to be that accountability in all factors. It also is a home accountability too, and I will tell you that, because my kids are in 5th grade, and I'm always the check to power school. Let's see what we did today. It's this. If they don't, yes, my position is a little different, and I just send a quick email and say, hey, I haven't seen a grade being updated in almost a week for my kid. Can you tell me where he's at? And but at the end of the day, it's that accountability. I can tell you now that with like the track kids, one of the first things I do at practice every day is I said, pull out your phone, open your power school. Don't show me from 2 weeks ago, pull the thing down so it refreshes and show me where you're at power school wise. And I said, because at the end of the day, your 9 weeks is up, it's not gonna affect me, but I wanna see you eligible for the fall or whatever it may be. So it's that accountability that has to happen, and Juan's exactly right, is it's gotta be lead by example. What we want our kids to do is what we wanna show.
It is a lot of home as well too, because
Yes.
you have at 2 a.m, you have another game, you gotta leave at 7. The kids are there, they're ready to go to the game, but they're not ready to go to school. So it's just,
Yeah, mine made it.
yeah, no.
Even
There's some
got
that they get them at 2 and they're at school.
Yeah,
Some will miss.
yours made, most of them made it.
If you
I
have a
will.
game the next day,
I will tell you, it was a
it's more
very,
of home
very
game.
select few that did not make it.
Yeah.
And those select few, I actually did have them reach out to them and say, if they're not here by the end of the first period, they're not playing. And I got a lot of flack and kickback on that, but that's a whole different issue.
Okay, Gingerly. Motion to approve the department reports. Move. First one, second, all in favor? Aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We go on to new business and item A, discussion of possible action regarding Red River Charter School site. Motion to table.
Before I do, Mr. President, I'd like to discuss a little more of the meeting item after. Yeah, motion.
And then next one.
Yeah. We can discuss before.
Oh, okay.
Before the motion.
Yeah, I just asked for the motion.
You opened it up for motion, but I mean, you can discuss.
Yeah.
You can discuss before.
So after consulting with the attorneys, based on the advice that they gave us, we're gonna have to. How should I put this? Would like to meet with the charter school and discuss how we will move forward or not. But we'd have to propose a resolution, and then charter would have to put a resolution for the Board of Finance.
So what would happen would be is, and you want me to take it?
Yeah.
Okay. So what would happen would be, the reason to meet would be to sit down with you guys, have a discussion with the charter school on what the proposal would be to create the resolution. And from that point on, once that resolution is created, then the charter school would also need to create a resolution that would match what the asks of the district would be. And so with that being, then those resolutions would be what would be both approved by the district, and then they would also be approved by the charter school. Once those are approved, then you would take that and that would be sent to the New Mexico Public Finance Authority. And so then that's where you start that process. And so the only reason that he's asking to table at this point is because the first piece of that needs to be the actual sit down with the charter school to kind of go over what they're looking at term wise and see if that's an agreement on term wise. It doesn't mean that there's.
So to change that up is, he says it's a lengthy process, complicated process, but what cannot happen between two government entities
Is a
is
sale.
a sale.
Yes.
Yeah.
So all previous interactions was a sale and a purchase, it has to be a transfer.
Yes.
He said, so it's different.
Yeah, and we were under the impression that we couldn't do a transfer with the charter directly, that, well, we couldn't do a sale directly, but now we got some
And
clarity.
we found out you can't do a sale with any other
Yeah,
government
entity,
entity.
so it would have to be a transfer, so now we're back to square one, saying we can work with the charter and we don't have to go to another government agency to do a transfer of property, so to speak. But,
So, Mr. President, that would take the town out of it, then it would be through the charter.
yes,
And what
now,
about the concern if the charter ever dissolved and the land would go back to the state?
It would revert
No.
back
It
to the
would be
district.
back to the,
Utah.
yeah, that's kind of the.
That's the language.
That's the
that would-
legal, what we
yes.
would have to agree to, that if ever the, you know, that's a conversation that we have to have.
When everybody's together.
Yeah, the district and the, so I don't know how.
So like the agreements on that resolution is gonna probably take,
It's close to a year, or
Yeah.
months.
he said that's just
Like,
standard.
Board of
By the
Finance
time
and
we-
everybody else, I guess.
We make an agreement amongst us, and then we need, your board makes an agreement, and then we both put our resolutions together.
We'll have to mirror each other.
Yeah, and then they go to authority.
Sits in a desk for who knows
Yeah, Board of Finance by
how long.
Yeah. They get the DFA with the next stuff, but, anyhow, yeah. We can't take any action until we get all this other stuff.
So just for clarification, Mr. President, so do you know what the terms of that would be, that you could let the president know, so he could kind of start talking to his board about it, or do y'all not even know what the?
Ideas that we could start.
We, right now, no, we do.
It'd be easier, we just plan a day,
Yeah.
you guys here, we're here, or whatever.
So
we need
no
to-
more just
Yeah,
what
we,
you need and transfer.
yeah, we need to sit down, both entities, and see what we're going to work out, or us as a board, what we decide, so.
Mr. President?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm fairly new to the board, but I just wanted to just clarify a couple things here. From what I was hearing in the thing, we don't wanna make a decision without having the school board involved, like you guys involved, because we wanna meet in the middle and kind of see like what will help both of us out. There was some information that was shared with us, and then tonight we were shared something different that isn't as complicated as we all thought it would be. And so it would just be best that way everybody's on the same, you can share your ideas, we can share our ideas, that way we're all on the same page, and we don't make a decision that may affect you guys and you guys feel like we made a decision that isn't based off of, the needs of all the students. And so, like he said, it'd be best to just kind of meet and discuss, kind of where we can meet in the middle and move forward and make this transaction a little bit better than just making that hasty decision on what we feel should be done. So if there's any questions before we, put this meeting together, it'd be good to kind of set those questions, that way we can all get together and discuss them during this meeting, just to kind of clarify, if you have questions or if we have questions. The concern that I had too was, okay, well, what if the charters, for whatever reason, happen to stop or whatever, and you have the concern of it going back to the state? It was clear that there would be language that it would come back to us, and so we definitely don't want any property going back to the state, and so I'm just happy to hear that there could be a medium to kind of make sure that doesn't happen. But yeah, my suggestion, and I don't know what times or dates we'll be meeting, but if you have any questions, just get them ready. That way we can all kind of discuss and figure out the best for the solution.
If we can do it in the next 25 days would be ideal.
I will say for the year thing that happened, I was kind of like, oh, a year's kind of long, but the way he had explained it was that a resolution needs to come from us and it needs to go over to the State Board of Finance. Before any type of transfer happens, there does need to be an approval prior to any type of transfer. And then a resolution from the charter also needs to go over to the State Board of Finance for approval. So I guess between the, the making of the resolutions, taking them over, who knows, like he said, how long, it takes them to review these resolutions and then get back to us. But he did say it would take possibly up to a year to finalize this. I've never been through one of those, so unfortunately I can't speak on that part, but that was just kind of the clarification that I had gotten. But if you wanna set up dates with Mr. Maldonado to
Yeah.
set up a meeting to discuss.
I'll be on the Grand Canyon all of April, so I do like to meet before then. So not delaying it for a month.
When is y'all's next board meeting?
Wait, just Monday after the ski area closes, it's 16th, so 2 weeks yesterday.
That's kind of where we're at, so we can,
Okay.
Mr. President. So I think you probably could, maybe take yourself or two members and John. And then all you have to do is put a report on the agenda for the rest of what we discussed.
Can't you just post it for
Yeah.
possible quorum?
That way everybody who wants to. Well, you could do that too. That just.
Yeah, I think it's easier that way, so everybody's there and they can ask questions and it's not a back and forth.
Depends on who can come and.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty, I say I'm pretty open, but I mean, I'll make time over the next 2 weeks with the ski area on certain days. I'd like to think Nick could as well, but I know I'll make time.
It seems
so,
like evenings work better for everybody.
yeah, I mean, Wednesdays aren't gonna be good once we get spring break, we have events in the evening, ski area, but I leave for 23 or 24 days on April 2nd, so ideally if we can get an initial conversation out before then. That way I'm not gone, I'll be out of pocket for those 20-something days, so it'd be not ideal for that on my side of things. I don't wanna delay it.
Well, we'll see what we do and then we can just have a possible quorum. And
Yeah,
we can
I'm good
make
with
it,
that.
make it, and then we can
There's no
all sit down
specific
together. See what we can come to terms with and then go forward, cause we just keep kicking the can.
Mhm.
But that's the advice from our legal beagles.
It's just frustrating that they had one advice last meeting and different advice this meeting.
Trust me, we were in the same, he heard us in the frustration. Yeah, because it was told one thing and now we're told a whole different. So we couldn't, basically, we can't sell it to a charter, which was that was the whole prior discussion, and so, okay, well, but you could do a transfer from. You can't sell it to any state. Yeah, any agency.
Yeah, so I mean, I thought it was a transfer to the town was gonna help make it easier.
That would have,
So why are we not doing that?
it's no different. Yeah. So transfer direct to the charter school is no different. It's no different than transferring it to the town, because the terms would have been the same in a sense. So, well, what's the point? And we didn't know we could do the transfer to the charter. Now, yeah, you can. Yeah.
Okay. More
Hopefully
information.
that helps. Any further discussion? Motion to table.
Second.
First and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
Thank you. Oh,
So item B, discuss and possible action regarding nominations for excellence in student development award. This is NMSBA one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is your NMSBA, these are those nominations that you do normally. One is free, anything else after that is $50.
You could put a school board member, administrator, staff member, parent, community member, volunteer, or other. So just like a recognition for how they help the district or the students. So, who you did last year, John? Was Lorraine last year? Or 2 years ago?
It's a couple. I remember it was.
I think we did.
Was it the sisters? Police.
Yeah, police
Santana?
and Santana,
That was last year?
yeah.
And somebody else, right?
There's a few.
We did one also to Becky and.
Oh, three.
Was that three? Year before?
Yeah.
So like, you could consider,
Maybe.
yeah, like the runs I do, league and basketball and all that.
Do we all do it separately or we?
No, we just, it's together.
One for
yeah.
free and then.
Yeah, you get one for free, and then how much we pay for it?
The additional.
$50.
Per.
Is it for the plaque or what is it? Yeah. It'd be good to do one for a teacher and maybe, I'd like to nominate for bus contractors. I don't think we've really done anything for that, and we lost one this year.
Can you nominate if you choose?
Yeah.
It's-
I would say we include him and all the other contractors.
Like just the owners or the ones that do good?
I would say the drag race.
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah. Getty, Charlie.
Yeah, all the drivers.
I think your drag race. If you're gonna go that way,
Is there on Beverly good? Yeah, Beverly.
she's better.
I was gonna say the other one. But yeah,
You have the 6 drivers.
You have 6 drag races.
we have 6 drivers though. So Blue Mo?
Yeah.
That's why that's for me, that's for me.
I like that.
Be good for a teacher.
So, she's here at the elementary. He's Mr. Go Happy every single day, isn't it?
Oh, Mr. Trey.
Is that a thing? He slams the crap out of my door. I almost tell him every day, but he's pretty, you have a wonderful, he's all about it.
Oh, I don't see him.
Oh,
I don't know his name, I don't just.
He slams
he's
the
happy
door.
all the time, you know. I don't know, teaching wise, I don't even know what he teaches.
It's just kindergarten.
Is that the one I met that day? Yeah, I like him. He's very energetic.
And he's starting to roll very
Troy?
Troy.
What's his last name?
That's his last
fast.
name.
And then
Oh.
Jared.
Jeremy Troy, oh, okay. Yeah, he's a happy camper. I'm good with him. How's Mr. Troy? The buses.
I think if you look at the high school, and I don't know if they did them, but I would say Claire Adams is another one. She goes above and beyond for those kids, not just FFA, but even her.
Is she a basketball too?
Did she get one last year?
Last year. I think we did talk to
I think she
Claire
did.
Yeah.
last year.
The sisters and Claire got. Or the sisters the year before and then,
No, it was this last year in Claire and
okay.
How many do you
I don't know, it's in this year, these are all staff.
7.
Who's that?
could we get the books on it? I mean, not like that, but
I think most of the done was like 6. But 1 to 6 plus per hour, that don't matter. I mean, you could do a parent, or you could do a, no, that's just a. I think last year though, we had site administrators made their recommendations for us.
What are the people that do the scorekeeping for the volleyball and basketball game? What's her name?
Bella, Rhea.
It was the other,
It was, Leon.
John.
Aliana. Yeah, I can do that too. So like, yeah, we can do plastic. That was just a test one. So that's a piece of slate that she was able to engrave into. And then she made us some plaques for the cheer competition and stuff like that. That one, when she put it in, it got put in backwards, but she can.
Flip it around, she got in.
Yeah, but it was just trying to
The
show
cat's
you.
supposed to go the other way?
Yeah,
Yeah, she just.
Oh.
That was her test.
that was just a test one. So we could also do that too if we don't want to go crazy with the $50 plaque. But don't say your name, you just say in recognition of.
I don't think it says the name on the, like, the one they.
So your name's on it?
Really?
No,
Cool.
It just says in recognition of or whatever.
Well, if they're gonna pull that out for $50 and you don't even have their name on it.
they don't do them.
Those cost me like $10,
Yeah,
and I can put names on them. Yeah, you don't want to go that route.
because we could give one to, for Grady to, Emilio, his son. Something like that.
Yeah, you can go that. You can go wood. I don't have any of the wood ones because we used them for the cheer competition.
Just don't drop it.
I think she can even do like the clear ones. What are they?
Do you wanna go this route with the
Glass,
snake,
yeah.
and we go to the bus drivers, or we give them the one that doesn't say their name from the school board?
We give them that and make them one of them each.
Double it.
Yeah, double it.
Second. I call for a motion. Well, it's just to the nominations.
Just your nominations. So do you want to do those for the drivers, and then if we do any teachers, we can just do those ones?
I think that would be great, because then it gives the administrators
Kind of voice
pick
of
one.
Yeah.
And it don't need to be one, it could be a couple, or, you know.
But they're the ones that know.
Yeah, I think,
So the 6 drivers.
yeah.
And Troy.
You want to do that one?
Maybe first and second.
Almost second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I need you to sign. You'll have to sign the form. So you have them all.
Yeah, there's someone good here. What?
No, I'm not doing it.
There's 5 here, so I just need one more. 6, 7, yeah. Oh, I said 6, 7.
Back, but that's okay. I'm standing over on you.
So happy. Yeah. Tell them they gotta come to the board and get that. Yeah, they can.
You're gonna put it in the mail.
Sure. No, that's my person. That's what I thought when I held out in the signal of checks. They were like 200 some.
You can carry a big Sharpie.
Yeah, I should have.
So I'm gonna keep that going worse than this.
My signature isn't the lost greedy end. It's not the signature of the certificates. I know, that guy has one. Only one can compare is with you. I don't like you. You put it in the file folder.
I don't understand.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I can get. Exert the energy. Okay, next item, C, discussing possible action regarding North Foundation donation in the amount of $1,720 to support community engagement and Cuesta through sponsorship of high school senior banners.
That's what they put in silver?
Yeah, these are your senior banners that get hung on
The lights,
the roadways, yeah, and the lights.
Second.
first and second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item D, possible action regarding, discuss some possible action regarding North Foundation donation in the amount of $9,000 for mobile field learning equipment for QISD students.
Oh, this is to purchase a trailer and a generator. Just in case we ever need it.
A big generator?
Huh?
Just a small generator?
Like a bigger one. I think we looked at about damn, I can't remember what size he was looking at, but
Seem like some figures in this one, or
a dump trailer.
a dump truck.
For the generator. It says for mobile field learning equipment.
Yeah, so if they need to plug in something when they're out on the field, you got the generator, you got the trailer.
Cool stuff.
All those
Second.
first and second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Item E, discuss and possible action regarding Kit Carson Propane donation in the amount of $600 intended to support charity program.
This is just their normal donation that they've been giving on a monthly basis.
Propane gives 600, electric gives $5.
I'll move.
Second.
First and second, any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Next item, unfinished business, item A, discuss and possible action regarding postpone the general overview of the process presented by Mark Lyons, Red Line Bosque Advisors.
So this was all business because it was from the last time, but basically you heard his recommendations. Does it need to happen today? You can table it if you need to table it. You can take no action on it, and we can bring it back at a later date. But at some point, we do need to start making this. I do have PSFA that will be out here Thursday. So if any of you are available and want to come in about 8:30, kind of do a walkthrough with them and a site visit, then that would be
What is it?
PSFA.
What is it?
Thursday. Thursday at 8:30.
Next week.
Yes. Yeah, so I did a possible quorum.
This Thursday or?
Yes, this Thursday.
No, Thursday.
No, I won't be here either Thursday.
You won't be here Thursday?
Maybe it's next week, huh?
This week.
No,
This Thursday.
This Thursday, yeah.
At 8:30.
2 days. What did you think of the
Yes.
presentation one night? As far as going to Dallas and all that, the public versus the PFA. Selling security bonds and stuff is, that's not my thing also. I've never had any experience with it. It's a sleazy business.
Yeah, it is, but if you're truly looking at it, your better option is selling to the public than selling to the banks that will pick you up, and piece of that is because your rates that you pay are gonna be a lot higher to the banks. You don't see, they take their cuts right away, and that's what we've kind of learned with these, is that they'll take their cuts right out the gate. So I think he even gave you that example. You'll see if you sell X amount, you only see this much because you sell to the public, then you're gonna get a little bit more. I do agree with him on the piece of not selling all at one, breaking it into the pieces for that purpose, because it gives you money to be able to use later, and you're not paying your you're not putting, on the interest on it, yeah.
You don't have to.
But you don't have to make a decision today, just, I think,
I guess the only question I have is, like what member Sam said about the time frame. I guess what are we trying to compress it, is what you thought was, like, a little faster?
Yeah, for me, it seems like it's stretched out a little far,
Well, I kind of the same page, but I
The,
don't know what your
the,
thoughts
the
were.
thing
like,
is that you need to, and I agree. The thing is that once you get your architect and your contractor, you have to have those realistic timelines with them. Because a lot of times they're the ones that set your timelines and they'll be the ones that will tell you, this is not realistic, I can't get this done in this time. What we found, like even just now, this construction with the greenhouse, we were hoping to have it up before winter came. Now these guys won't even touch anything until April. And so that was the conversation. Actually, I just brought him out here last week and he said, I said, dude, it hasn't been freaking 50 degrees for the past. And he's like, I still can't do it until we're about in the 60s for so many days in a row. So that's what you're going to get with your construction piece. So you got to be realistic on that piece too.
But I mean, with the construction piece, you can put in there, hey, if you're past this deadline, you're gonna pay us money because you missed it. You know?
We do
But
have
a lot of
deadlines
them,
in that.
a lot of them may not hit you in that. That's the piece that you gotta,
but
Right.
you gotta
you
be.
can't really, so what I was thinking when I was asking that question is phase one is gonna dictate the series of phases that happens after that.
Yeah.
But there's a chance that phase one can happen
Sooner.
sooner, or in a couple of months, you might be able to get that engineering company to dictate the rest of the
Yes.
phases.
So
But when we go for
So I
that,
guess just as it moves.
Easy move. But the other piece that you have to look into that too is the way PSFA funds. PSFA funds in a 2-cycle funding, and so they'll give you the first part of your funding, and then they won't give you the second part of your funding until later. So that's a good question. If you guys come to that, remind me or you ask, what does your funding cycle look like? Because what they've done with other districts is they've given them like the upfront. They've given them 2 years to have the planning done, and then they don't fund again until after that's done, and that's their 2-cycle funding. And so that's what you don't want to.
Okay.
You also got to look at that. Like if you go out and you push the phase faster, you don't want to be sitting on X amount of money, but yet you're just sitting on it because PSFA hasn't funded their portion of it.
Now we're paying the interest.
Yes.
you go out and buy bonds with it and make interest.
Yeah, you can buy bonds with it and you can build interest on it.
It's a really weird thing.
Yeah.
It's absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
That's the problem with it, is that there's actually no money.
No.
And the bond is actually worth more.
It's just
There's
piece
a
of
whole
paper.
different economic
Yeah.
explanation for
It's like
capital bonds.
it's almost like
ridiculous.
Bitcoin. You don't ever see it, but it's got this
It's there.
value to it. Yeah.
The value, but it's not.
Yeah, that's
It's like 1 trillion actual dollars in the economy, which somehow the bonds and equivalent say there's 15 trillion. There's actually nothing.
Yeah, I don't know nothing. This is all new territory.
Yeah. There's no money. Like we're not gonna be sitting in the bank and have a bank
Yeah,
account
we're
with
not gonna have a bank
with
account.
$20
The
million.
only one that actually has
Yeah.
some actual money that gets to leave them is the taxpayer.
Mhm.
It personally affects them.
Mhm.
But actually, what we're gonna spend actually has nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
This is a weird thing. You know, that's why it's
Well, that's why you said you gotta go to Dallas and meet them in person.
no, that's not for, that's just.
What's that?
That's to get your grading.
Yeah, well, but, and,
That's so that at some point they take you around like.
yeah, I mean,
To the rest of them, if you wanna buy this guy,
they-
because he got graded in Dallas
Yeah.
as an AB or an A1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you come out to get like a C grading, they're gonna say, oh, well,
Let's go with that.
yeah,
that's what's gonna happen.
So if you're not going to Dallas, you're welcome to go to
Well,
Dallas.
you have to.
well, you
Well,
have to.
or else
That's
you'll
what
end-
he said.
you'll end
You
up
have
with,
to go meet them in person.
Because if you
Get the better
if you do it online virtually, you're gonna get a
get a C.
low rating. So you
Get
have,
down.
But I'm
you have to go to
guaranteeing money
Dallas.
that's not even money.
There's no money, no, it's paper.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't, this is
So
all
we're going
learning,
down.
learning process,
Going
but I
down.
guess we're going to Dallas to meet
I have faith in these cards you got now.
No,
The
it's
grader's too old.
the graders,
The
yeah.
tradition that's going up.
Yeah, you're going to meet the graders, the ones that are gonna tell you what your bond is worth and what you can get out of your bond. But
what's a grade on what the actual, what your mills and the
Yes.
actual
Yeah.
district and the project grades at?
Yeah.
In bond capacity.
Yeah, this
So
is,
if I spend my money on you, you're gonna get X amount back.
yeah.
Gonna have to fill the sprinkler on, huh?
Dallas.
You don't want me to go, cause you get a bad grade. We'll have some arguments to make.
So we table this to the next meeting,
Or take no action.
I'll just
Here.
do it now and then bring it back.
Be a different conversation.
No motions, no nada. Discuss some possible action regarding Vida del Norte student survey by Ms.
Is that the same one she's done every year?
No.
No, it's included in there, the survey and the permission slip, and you do see the things that have been taken out, pretty short survey.
Mr. President? I don't have no issues with the survey, but the permission slip is not really a permission slip because you only turn it in
You decline.
if you don't want to. So that kind of blankets everybody. I think it should be the opposite, that if you give your child permission to take this, then you should fill this out and take it back to get permission.
Right.
Well, what if
That's
they
backwards.
I consent or I don't
You
consent?
need consent, right? If you don't get one back to you, then the child shouldn't take it.
If it signs, then you
This
should.
is kind of the way that the one Taos had for the surveying was pretty much this one, so I said, well, this is if you don't want your kid to take it, then you send this back, but otherwise, if you don't send it back, then.
But what if it never, what if it
Which is
never
not
makes it home?
Term.
Right, so what if a kid loses it or
No,
something?
I think it puts the district in legal liability if you do it this way.
I know.
So if you get a signed one, you take the survey. And if you don't get the signed one, then you don't do it.
No, it's like a field trip.
Right, yeah, you don't have
You
your
have the permission slip to go, then you go. You can't say, okay, everybody's gonna go to Albuquerque tomorrow, but unless you want your child to go and fill this out and bring it back.
Yeah.
Is it,
It's backwards.
can we just put if they decline and if they do wanna do it, cause let's just say they,
But they have to bring this form back one way or the other, either yes, they
Yeah,
can take it, or no, they can't. And that should
So what
be,
happens if no phone?
So if they don't bring it back, then what do we do?
oh,
They don't get no participate.
then they can't take it,
I'm
yeah.
fine with that.
because
I would say
they-
just flip the permission slip. You sign it if you want your kids to do it, and you don't bring it if you don't want your kids to do it.
Yeah, it's easy.
It has both?
I say it should
Yes,
have-
or no.
I
Yeah,
agree.
no,
I think if
If
you're
this doesn't
talking-
come back, then.
if you're talking district liability, I think that it has both. I agree with you because if somebody takes it and they say, I didn't give my kid permission to that, you can pull this out and say, well, here's the permission slip.
Because if they
Yes.
get one that says they, yeah. if they
This is
do
not a
it,
permission.
No,
So even like you have problem with absences, right?
yeah,
So the time these are supposed to come back, go out, and come back, or admissions, well, if the kid just comes back today, he's been out, and they sit him down, take it down, you write it, because you didn't bring this part back, so you get to
there
take
you
it.
took it.
You get your, you brings us to liability. I mean, now you can ask the Gino and them, and the reason that we, all permission slips are
I'm
for
fine with
permission.
do or don't.
Yes or no, and if they don't bring it back, they don't do it.
Yeah.
Yes or no, if they don't bring it back, they don't do it. Make a motion like that, or unless you want it to come back, well,
Can't you just make a motion to approve of the change?
Yeah, so whatever change you just make the motion.
But you don't see
Is
it.
that our form to make change?
You won't see the permission
They have
slip.
to bring it.
it says QISD letterhead, so it's hard, sorry.
So it's ours.
It's hard, like.
Because if it's ours, we can do that. If it's not ours,
So
we can't
did
do
you
it.
make this, or?
No, I didn't make that.
No, this is what she said.
It would have had our letterhead if it was.
That's, I don't have no
I think-
issue with
The survey's fine.
the survey.
Why wouldn't they put the VDOT on
That's what I'm saying.
Question
She's
I
not
have too
permission
is,
to change
what
what it
grades
is.
are gonna do
there? But I'm
this?
saying they can approve it
I don't
and
know.
tell her to change it before it gets back to school.
6 to 12. So that's why it would include elementary. 6 to 12? So it says right there, for students grades 6 to 12.
Because we're actually having Mr. Miller send it out as the school district, but anything would go into the attention of Maria.
But if we have it and that's ours, I'll just adjust it myself. Well, that's what I mean, if it's our letterhead, we can adjust it, if it's theirs.
Yeah, because it's our permissions.
You know,
It needs to be a permission slip.
Yeah, yeah.
I'll just send it home.
This is backwards.
Yeah,
Okay.
cut this little ticket off the bottom.
I'll make a motion to approve it with changes to the permission slip, that it gets changed at the permission slip. With the yes or no? With the yes or no. Okay. And if it does not come back, then you don't take it. Okay. Yeah. The permission slip has to come back saying yes, for them to take the survey. If it comes back saying no, or it doesn't return, they can't take it.
Second.
All right, a first and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, finance. Budget to actuals. There's nothing here. Item B. Bars. Nothing there. Item C, pre-approved list. Board approval, requisitions over 5,000. Chromebook.
The library fund, they released the.
What is this one? The library grant. For stereo headsets and Chromebooks? Yeah. This was an asked for by the librarian. So she has a set in her library.
And the state.
What do they use it for?
She actually does typing classes with the kids. And so it prevents them from having to take their Chromebooks with them to the library.
So 16 Chromebooks.
Yes.
And this is through, yeah.
This is their library grant. Yes.
She would prefer desktops?
No. She likes to put them away so they don't sit up.
Is there an area for you?
Yeah, there's a whole desk that used to have computers on it.
And this is elementary or high school?
This is elementary.
Yeah. A first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
How many Chromebooks do you have? Oh, we don't want to talk about Chromebooks. Not for a later date. Every kid has a Chromebook, but not every kid has a Chromebook.
Was that it?
They don't last.
Was it just that one?
Yep.
Next item is future business, item A, future planning.
Future business.
There was the
training coming up?
The regional training.
Your regional.
Santa Fe. I registered you guys all, but if you're not
When is
going, let me know today, cause I gotta cancel by
Monday, Monday the 16th.
at what time?
6 in the evening.
No, it's 5 or 5:30.
Yeah.
5:30. Santa Fe High School.
Are you covering in Monday?
The one you said-
I don't think it's 6:30.
No, it's on the bus, but
Let
I
me
know
tell you, because it's earlier, I think.
Monday, Tuesdays are bad days for me. Thursday, Friday.
No, this is
What's the date on it?
The 16th.
It's from Joanne. Joanne,
Yeah.
I'll send it to you.
Yeah, you get.
Kansas credit, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that'll go.
Kelly, you want?
Don't go, Kelly.
Kelly?
You don't need no credits.
Cheers, the business.
Cheers, the business. No.
I haven't had any in 5 years. It starts at 5.
They feed you?
I know.
I like to take my own way. So nothing for free.
Well, you can go early.
Gotta chase that Harry Potter jacket.
And it's where in Saturday?
It's Saturday.
Doesn't have to leave that.
I have to do that somewhere.
Yeah, I gotta see.
I might be able to swing that.
Telling you.
Yeah,
Is that-
Yeah, you know what? I will be able to make it.
You will?
Yes, now that,
Take a,
if I have to leave by 3, I can do it.
take a vehicle.
But I gotta make sure I have a vehicle, so.
Take that van.
Yeah, the way then.
Yeah, we'll be back a little later from Santa.
Take some chili from
Chili,
Chimayo.
yeah, so there. That's what it's for, they don't have transport.
That's what we always say. I seen it up the other day.
I see him with it too. You guys fix light now?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It was in Taos or somewhere.
Don't fly out, man.
You gotta sing those.
I never heard of it.
I'll send you an email with the time.
But it doesn't say on here.
What?
I got it based on
Oh, you're not listening?
the time on that meeting.
What time is it?
Did you find the time?
It's usually at 5,
There goes the.
I think it's at 5.
5 or 6.
Here it is. It is it's at Santa Fe Public School, Santa Fe High School, Monday at 5:30.
Oh, good.
There it is.
That's it.
Check. Run down.
So they appetizers, chips and salsa, buffet style. They have chicken cordon bleu served with avocado sauce and roasted tomato sauce, garlic mashed potatoes, grilled vegetable platter, and fresh green salad. And an eggplant entree will be available for vegetarians.
Oh man, that is a Santa Fe.
And then dessert is a chocolate cake.
There's a roadhouse in Santa Fe now.
Fuck yeah, they have a real good,
I was like, what was that?
They were out there, culinary team. Yeah, they were just. the chef.
Mesa, remember Mesa Vista too?
Was Mesa, we went to that one too, though.
Yeah, and they have their FFA serving, but their culinary prepared the.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
That was good.
enchiladas and stuff on.
Well, they did in Pecos that one year was pretty good too.
Tacos with enchiladas. I'm
Yeah,
trying to
roast
think
beef.
of
Yeah.
what Mesa was. Mesa was.
So we almost rode the for expedition.
Oh, God,
The death wobble.
the death wobble, yeah, that one was pretty rough. Anything else?
You're gonna have to have a meeting with,
Now I was thinking, future meetings.
future planning, that won't be a.
That's future
Yeah,
planning.
yeah.
Possible quorum.
Well, do you want a quorum or do you want just the two?
I would say you just post it as possible quorum in case more show up.
Yeah.
If some don't make it, then they don't make it.
Well, we can.
You could do
Within
lots
the
of
next 2
ideas.
weeks.
I'm probably free after April.
He's not.
As long as it's in the evening, that should be good.
Yeah, I mean,
Rest of March is busy.
Except for the second for Tuesday.
If March is actually
Not
bad.
just, I was gonna say it's.
yeah, because you have,
John has a March, John won't be around.
What's Monday's
you
date?
have state tournament.
Next Monday.
Next week I'm not here.
State tournaments next week, then you have, state cheer the following week,
You got track,
track
Is
kicks
it the
off.
following week right after this year?
you got track.
Could be towards the end of March.
Yeah.
Like the last week in the last month.
Let's see,
What about the 23rd or the 25th?
It's the 25th, that's good.
Yeah,
You're-
they'll
you're-
be doing it for all
You're
of us.
over there.
Maybe they'll feed you in regular.
I don't think I'm allowed there.
Why not?
What are you telling me?
Visitor,
I heard you had instructions.
don't let one cross the.
That's what I heard.
Where are we having this meeting at?
Oh.
Yeah.
No,
We're having it here, right?
The 25th here. Possible
Monday,
quorum.
Carla.
North Carolina.
No.
Oh, oh, we're having it.
The
I heard
25th.
you walk
Tell her the lecture hall.
the village.
And the
You wanna
next
go there?
one?
In case everybody shows, a bunch of people that show up. They're gonna bring the whole charter, they're gonna bring their board and they're gonna bring their
that's true.
support.
Let's do it over there then.
they're over there, we could ask them to.
Have you toured the new school?
Could reach out to your house and see if we can.
You can decide that.
It has a smaller place.
Yeah,
than
we'll
we
just
do.
say-
Just know
Yeah,
you
I
have
know
to-
it's smaller, but it gives you a chance to see what's there.
you have to do it at some point, just.
Yeah, here, just order them. They want, they come to us.
And we just started.
Possible quorum on the 25th, 6 o'clock.
Stop and go.
Hold on, I need to check the 25th.
Let's do it at the bus station. What's up? Do it.
But I don't
I'm
have
trying to
to,
get this around in the bus.
Anything else?
because they won't make decisions there anyway.
No, but if you go possible quorum, you have to record it.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
No, you don't, we did possible quorum in Montgomeryville.
Yeah, that's true.
Not for possible
It's a
quorum, because there's
meeting
no
between
decision, you won't make decisions then,
Yeah.
you're just gonna have a discussion.
Yeah, we're not just making any decisions. Let's put that in bold discussion.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you call it a work session.
Yeah.
But if you call it a work session, then it's
Then
open to the public.
it's open
and
to
it
the
has to
public.
be-
It has to be open to the
But it
public.
has to be recorded too. if you do it.
Possible quorum, it has, whatever you guys do has to be open to the public.
Right, but a possible quorum, you do not have to record because you guys aren't making any kind of decision, it's just a discussion between
Yeah.
two entities.
It's like continuing to be together.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe ask, Gino and then get.
That might be better.
Yeah, that's, yeah.
There we go, you just get turning.
Yeah.
Ask him how to go about that.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna show you guys how to use the recorder.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another thing. The question was about a board retreat. Tony is willing to do a board retreat for you guys. He asked that you would attend in his office in Santa Fe at his boardroom. He's open to day, he's open to time. But he does ask that all 5. If he said if 4 show up, I'm not doing it. I mean,
That's all fine.
that's all 5. He's also asked for you to reschedule a date for you and a date for you, Mr. President, to do a Zoom training.
Oh, a Zoom training, yeah. Yeah, Zoom's usually okay for me.
Callie's is the makeup for not being present because he was kind of upset with Mr. Callie over there.
Oh, for the training.
Yeah.
For the training for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So training for
What's
Callie
he upset?
and then just, no, he's not.
Oh, I was gonna
He just said he wants to give you the same info he gave us.
You charge for that or is it free?
No, I charge us for that.
That's why.
I said we were, I'm not good.
Do you want a board retreat next week?
Next week.
Oh, I don't know.
No, it'll have to be April. Because March is already booked.
That'll be after
I'll just put in.
April
question
gets
mark.
busy too.
April,
so.
and that'll be after
In June.
Yeah, it'd be a May for me.
I'm like June.
I don't like Santa Fe.
I'm gonna do it in the middle of, yeah, May-ish.
Let's go to Orlando.
Orlando?
We'll be down for that. I'll tell them let's go to Dallas.
Dallas.
And get it all knocked out.
Yeah.
One
shot.
time, yeah.
Only one shot.
Okay.
Not a bad idea.
Just tell your jokes in Dallas.
Okay, I'll get some dates, some
Okay.
possible dates.
That'll work. Anything else?
Now you got future items.
Yeah, item B, item suggested for future meetings.
Oh, hold on. I think you're already behind on, we gotta schedule the committees on calendar and you're behind on budget already. I think from last year, we're like 4 weeks already
Behind.
behind.
I don't know when budgets due.
You should already, well, by this time, you should already have the first budget, or
We should
first
have.
calendar should have already happened.
So you can do that, and then for calendar, what we'll do is, well, what I'll do is I'll send out the current calendar and send out something similar and have staff look at it so that when it comes back to you, it's.
Tell us this.
Well, you gotta meet.
Yeah, we gotta,
You gotta give them the
Well,
opportunity.
you can bring that piece in.
Yeah.
So that's where their input comes into play.
Right.
So that you're not avoiding staff from making decisions.
Wednesday?
What was the calendar for you? Calendar, budget was
Maybe I
like,
might schedule for tomorrow.
That's too early, right?
can't.
Hey.
You get that out back today.
You could.
Yeah.
Work till midnight.
I'll get with Mike and then we'll get with you and then we'll schedule for.
Budget.
Hey, you sure
Tomorrow's
is.
not available.
Everybody's gotta check their email tomorrow anyway, they work here. You're gonna kill them for 10 minutes if they come, it takes 10 minutes anyway.
No, I can't do tomorrow.
They shoot for
I'm not here next week.
Even the week after.
You just have it.
No, I should do that week after. And what I'll do is, like I said, I'll push it out and say we're asking for input, needs to get back to us by this date, and then we'll go from there. I was asking Penasco how they do theirs, and that's how they do theirs.
I'll check with Mike and we can get
Are you gonna send,
budget.
you gotta send notice out to the public? So you have to send something out to, allow public input if somebody else wants to come on, not just
All-
staff.
All stakeholders.
That's for the budget, right?
That's for the budget, you gotta open it up,
That's for the budget. Calendar is not as
no,
not as strict.
you only require it for calendar for the budget.
Because you technically need for the budget.
But you gotta make sure that has to go
But
out
at least
first.
they'll have the opportunity to volunteer that.
So last year, what we did was we did robocalls
We can put it on the market.
and we put it on the internet. And then we got a whole bunch, that's the thing you're gonna find is that you're not gonna be able to accommodate everybody. You'll have 5 dozen people that say, I wanna do this.
Well, if they show up, that's the date when we have the meeting.
Well,
My suggestion is if you have a room full of people
Yeah.
that much trying to do, but the budget it's a big
Yeah.
deal. You'll get pulled a bunch of directions.
yeah, and that's the other piece is just recommendation is just with being with these guys and working is that you gotta say if you're planning on being on this, you gotta be consistent because we had some that would show up one time and then you'll never see them again. And then they'll show up at the end, and then they're like, "Well, this didn't get talked about on the budget." And it's like, "Well,
Do it here.
we we're here. Like
Yeah.
we just have to move on." So I think the consistency of that's the thing is if
Pick
you're
a core group of people and just go with that.
and the big thing you got to remember is 80% of your budget is salary. There's not a lot you can do with that.
The other 20% is going down,
There's not
going down in the negative.
Are we good to go to suggested future meetings? Okay. Item B. Item suggested for future meetings.
Mr. President,
Go ahead. To come back or not?
I would suggest that we don't,
Or do one, or do you want to wait
you
till?
know, have any differences in meetings. And it also does make you might ask attorneys on that idea, but I think we leave your administrative and department reports on and your finances in every meeting, whether we go through them fast or
There's something there or not.
whether somewhere or not, at least it gives everybody on the board the possibility of bringing up a concern or question. And it doesn't put us out of order, I guess, because it's like we can try to navigate our questions through what we can during the superintendent report, but if we start, for example, stepping out into a different department and put yourself.
You still can. You still can, and that's one of the things with superintendent report is you still have the ability to
Well,
ask those
it's
questions
you're the
because
you're the
it's the whole broad.
Yeah.
So you could because I've asked that question like with departments like do you need your department head there? Some say yes, some say no because at the end of the day it all comes back to
I would say yes.
you're only employed.
I would say the best meetings we had in the past was every department head was there every meeting, and if we had questions, we had questions. If we didn't have questions, we didn't have any, but at least, only one that never showed up since I've been on was just nutrition. I've never been in charge of that, I never know. But it doesn't hurt to have it on there just in case we have something. We don't gotta wait one meeting or something for finances.
Finances, she usually does the second meeting. She'll
Yeah,
have
for
things,
the
unless she
financial.
has something, she'll let me know.
But it gives you the
She'll submit, but
opportunity
it gives
to
you,
keep,
we just leave it on there as is.
Yeah, you just leave it
Just
like
for the
that.
opportunity
Yeah,
in case.
just so that way
case
we
of
can-
requisition.
Right, but
comes.
normally she'll say it's always the second meeting because of the
But they're like-
closure of the month.
So example, like even the way it was, there was times where we had, it was the exact same both board packets, but it just was open again next meeting in case we had something.
I have to be honest with you, the transportation, I don't have a whole lot to report, but I'll,
Yeah, but you're here.
Yeah, if you're here, in case there's a question about.
You know what I mean? You're always there.
okay.
I think we should bring back at least a discussion for the, the boss here in the meeting. But no, I'm
What we need to, we can do that.
section. Yeah, no, the grading.
Grading.
Yeah, no, for our ratings is
And test scores.
test scores, yeah, that stuff, so we can have a little more clarity of to kind of a little bit of what we discussed here, but at least we'll have more data by then, can we? Is that what Ms. Heidi said, or no? No?
We're gonna test again now.
You'll test now, but you won't get those results back until probably May.
Okay.
But if you want a further discussion on what is actually being pulled, we can get into that, because I was a little overwhelmed with looking at how we went from this to this to this, and but then this and this and this are here, so.
Well, our internal seemed like there was hope, and then comes up with 49.
Yeah, that was
There's like 50
For what?
districts or whatever, we scored 49 or 50 with the paper thing. Well, we can't do that. What we could do is you can bring up your data on your absences. You can put up your policies on there, and then we can try to figure out how we address that. I don't know. I just think
I mean,
we deserve an explanation as to how we got there. Like, the correlation.
How does that work?
Yeah. But she kind of said they used data from 2 years ago. And I don't know how that all corresponded, it just.
I don't know, I think what we can do is bring you an explanation of what data is being pulled and what data is being used. I know you can't get too deep into the personnel and
Yeah,
what
no,
you can get into the.
nothing like that,
You
you
can
know,
get
and I'm not, that's what's the frustrating part is, I think it isn't the staff, because we're showing growth with the staff in this report, but when it went to the state, it was like, well, what happened here?
Okay, so let's put something on for data, let's put something on for policy and stuff for your attendance. You can even bring us this year and last year's attendance reports.
We don't make the exception, okay?
Yes.
You approve it.
We approved it, but it doesn't like the student handbook, but we can make changes to make
You
changes.
can make recommendations for changes to it.
Really, in the handbooks have to reflect the policy, but
See, and that's where the issue runs, is that our,
they're not.
they don't,
Outside.
yeah.
that's all I have.
Sure. Good. Motion for adjournment.
I'll move.
Second. First and second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Those are the-